Hey, Community Link. This is Ryan Rowe and Micah Hola, and we are writing this presentation to go over what's happening with your 401k plan. And Mike is going to be driving the recording here, and we're going to go over some important dates to know, the plan provisions, investment updates and resources, and what do you need to do. So just at a high level, if you haven't heard or received any notices as of yet, the team at Community Link has made the decision to transfer your 401k plan from Mutual of America to Principal. And so there's quite a few reasons why behind the change, but we are very confident that the options that you're going to have, features, bells and whistles, and service is going to be uh, much improved from what you're have been experiencing over the last couple of years. And so, just to understand the move, the no- there's going to be a blackout period, and that's what this is kind of showing here. And I have another slide that goes more into the dates, but November 15th is when the blackout period will begin. And the blackout is uh, usually a few weeks, usually about 2 to 4 weeks, where there are no transactions. So you can't make a withdrawal or request a loan or change your investments, because those assets, your total balance is going to be out of the market. And then you'll be notified on the tail end when the plan goes live on Principal. So here are the key dates. So you can make changes to your investments, to your contribution rate, loans and withdrawals on up to November 14th. So if you want to review anything, just keep in mind that November 14th is the last date to make changes. The blackout period will start on November 15th. And as I mentioned, no changes are allowed throughout that period. The reason for the blackout is when a conversion like this takes place from one record keeper to another, the assets have to be liquidated and then they're wired over all as a lump sum to the new record keeper. And then very shortly after that, what follows is all the data for all of you employees and participants that have balances in the 401k plan. It's a ton of data uh, as far as the different sources of money, whether you have pre-tax or Roth, matching contributions, year-end contributions, um, your vesting. There's all kinds of stuff. And it's uh, the blackout period is a period of time that allows principal to receive that and kind of reconcile and apply all of your funds so that everything matches up as it was at Mutual of America. The week of December 8th is when the blackout will lift, and they will try to do that as fast as they possibly can, but at the same time, uh, obviously need to make sure everything is correct and all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And from that point, you'll be able to log in and see your account and make any changes that you want to. We're going to highlight some plan provisions here. No changes really. So you can still make pre-tax contributions if you're age 50 or older or turned 50 earlier this year. You can make catch-up contributions. $7,500 is the extra amount above and beyond what the IRS allows if you're under than that, which is 23,000. Any point in time, any day now, the IRS is going to release their 2025 limits. We just haven't received those yet, but that will be changing. It'll probably increase slightly, which it typically does. If you have other retirement accounts that you want to consolidate to your Community Link 401k, by all means, you are eligible to do a rollover. Here's the eligibility for your own contributions as an employee. You must be age 21 and work for Community Link for 60 days. And the first of the month following meeting those two parameters, you can start to contribute. If you do not make an election, you will be automatically enrolled where 4% of your paycheck will be deducted and go into the 401k plan. Now, just because you're automatically enrolled, if you want to, if you don't want to contribute to the 401k, you can opt out. Or if you have been automatically enrolled and you don't want to participate, you by all means can change the amount you're contributing at any point in time or stop it. And then on the right hand side here, just some different strategies to help you retire. The biggest one here is save early and often. Uh, the power of compounding is the biggest advantage of investing in general. That certainly applies to 401k plans to um, help your account grow over time. So one question we often get is, well, should I do pre-tax or traditional contributions, or should I save on an after-tax basis? And I apologize for the little microphone thing there. Not sure how that got on there. Um, with the, it comes down to a tax question as far as doing traditional versus Roth. If you are contributing via the traditional method, that means that you're not being taxed this year or per paycheck on the amount that you're contributing, but you'll have to pay those taxes in retirement. If you go with the Roth option, you're actually taxed on your Roth contributions now, but on the flip side, the benefit to that is that as long as you have those assets in the Roth bucket for at least 5 years and you wait till you're 59 and a half or older, the IRS says you paid us upfront the taxes. So we're going to let all of those earnings from your Roth contributions be tax free. As you might imagine, the earlier you start using the Roth, the longer you have to compound all those earnings. So if you think about it for 1, 2, 3, even 4 decades, if you're doing Roth contributions, that can be a very substantial sum of money that will all be tax free to you at some point in time. So you're kind of paying yourself forward. All right, so the Community Link has an awesome 401k plan, and it's a benefit they take very seriously. So I'm going to get into their contribution component. You have to be 21 and work for 1 year at Community Link, and following meeting those requirements, the first of the month is when you're now eligible for their employer contributions. There's two different forms of employer contributions. So there's the match. So if you are contributing 4%, they're going to match 50% of that. So that'd be 2%. So you put in four and six is what goes in. So that's a pretty good deal. And then just for being an employee at Community Link, there's what's called an employer base, or it's also a non-elective employer contribution. So if you meet the requirements, 2% of your compensation goes in for everybody. That's really awesome. It's hard to find employer-based contributions. I think makes this plan stand out and very competitive against uh, similar or like organizations. Also, or one thing that is fairly common is a vesting period. So vesting refers to what amount of the employer contributions belongs to me. And so as a method to retain employees and talent, there's a vesting schedule of 3 years. So you work for 1 or 2 years, you're not vested yet. So what belongs to you is just your own contributions. Once you hit year three, then all of those matching and the employer base of 2%, that all belongs to you. All right. So one thing that's going to be a kind of a big change, I think very much for the better, but it will look a little different. So you have a Mutual of America target date retirement fund, or if you have a target date fund at Mutual of America, that's the default. They're by far the most popular options in the industry where the fund that you're in, so let's say you're in the Target Retirement 2035 fund. Well, it's based on your date of birth and expected that you're going to retire at 65. So that's the investment option that you're defaulted into, and that's where most people stay with their retirement plans. With at Principal, everybody's accounts is going to map to Retire View, and it's a similar concept, but it's not a single fund. So there's a mix of investments, and based on your age, you're going to go into those various investments. The stock and bond and cash portion is all tied to your age. So it's similar in that regard. One thing we like about Retire View is no matter what your age is, you might not feel this at the same comfort level as far as risk goes, and what we call it risk tolerance. So you can take a 8 question investor profile quiz, and it will use the Retire View investment options, but it will tweak it to adjust for whatever your risk tolerance is. So it's similar to a target date fund, only it adds that extra component that's customizable to you and how you feel about, your investments. So I think better, it's a more accurate option for your investments going forward. So these are some of the investments that we as the advisor have chosen and the principal offers as far as what the that lineup is going to look like or what your asset allocation is going to look like. So what you see here is for someone who's 0 to 5 years from retirement. So kind of a pre-retiree, if you will. And a good chunk is going to be, as you can see here, is a stable value fund, which is a principal investment plus a bond fund for about 60%. Now, someone who's 20 plus years is going to have way less of these conservative investments and a lot more of these stock investments. And then as time goes on, with when you're in retire view, it adjusts automatically so that you're always going to be allocated appropriately, just like a target date fund does. If you have any questions, when Mike and I are on site to meet with you individually, or if you want to call or email us, we will walk you through this stuff and happy to do it. And over here on the right, remember you can opt out of the retire view model. So let's say the change happens and you do not want to do retire view and you just want to pick and choose your own. It's perfectly fine. It's just your new default. So what you end up with is going to look something like this with various percentages and dollar amounts based on your account balance. All right. So the one thing that doesn't change when you do a record keeper conversion such as this is your beneficiaries do not transfer over. It's not a principal thing or a mutual America thing. That's just how it is every time. You always have to reestablish and enter your beneficiaries, which can be an individual, whoops, a trust, a state, an entity, or an organization, such as Community Link. All you'll need is name, address, and date of birth. And if you have their social security number or some other information, you're more than welcome to add that, but it's optional. Those are the 3 things you'll need. And you'll want to make sure after the blackout period is over, if for no other reason than just to go in and add beneficiaries so that uh, when you pass, it doesn't go through the whole probate process and rack up high attorney fees and that type of thing. It's also something that we'll remind you of when we're meeting with you. We usually, if not always, check to see and just make sure you have someone listed. And then this page is reasons why to save, and um, maybe the best one is it's easy. Just comes right out of your paycheck. There are tax advantages, regardless if it's pre-tax or Roth. It's flexible. You can make changes anytime to how you're invested, to the amount you're investing, to your 401k. Talked about compounding earlier, and then the employer match and the base contribution too. Um, why is it important? Living longer. Uh, you never know. You don't really need a reason to invest because life happens and you just might need the money someday, become disabled, inflation, retirement plans have changed. Um, they've changed a lot. They've actually become very competitive. The fees have come down over time, and there's been a lot of fee compression in the last 10, 15 years. And so it just makes them more and more attractive uh, to participate in. And then Social Security benefits, 41% is is kind of the benchmark for what we expect to replace um, your earnings during retirement. And 401k can definitely help, if not make up that full 60% or so that you're going to need. All right, so what you need to do, and you should have all received this to your work email or um, mailed to your home address. You can enroll online. So everything here is going to be sent to you if it hasn't already. Principal.com, text enroll, you can call. Principal's there to help. Mike and I are here to help. Set up your contribution, look at your investments, see if you want to make any changes, and feel free to do so. And then again, beneficiary, make sure you get that added. You have any rollovers, let us know. Principal has a rollover team that can help you walk through that. Mike and I are happy to do that too. And then a few guidance and tips. Again, start early, save often. And that is it. Thank you all for uh, tuning in. And if you have questions, feel free to call Mike or I, and we look forward to visiting with you all in a couple weeks when we're on site. Have a good day.